Hello there, my name's Jocelyn and I'm pleased to bring you the fifth video in our knowledge building series for upper primary teachers. Today I'm going to talk to you about oral reading practice. You'll be familiar with decodable text and repeated oral reading with decodable text in the early years, and even for our upper primary students in years 3 to 6 who still are working on lifting words from the page accurately with the alphabetic code. But did you know that oral reading practice, repeated reading, is still a good practice to undertake even into the upper primary years? The evidence around repeated reading tells us that, and through the work of Tim Rosinski, the fluency master, that repeated reading can really help on a lot of fronts, including helping children access more complex text, as I've spoken about in previous videos in this series. So what does it look like? Well, you choose a text that may be a little tricky for the children, just a little bit, and they read that same text every day for a week. And on the first day, you unpack it and you talk about what things mean and vocabulary and all that sort of thing. And then each day they read it with a partner just for a few minutes to have that repeated reading practice. What might you use? Well, the really nice thing about this is that in most circumstances, you don't have to carefully match the text to the student, as I've spoken about in a previous video in this series. You can just have that one text that links to something you're already learning. So you can actually choose anything. You can choose some poems, which is nice occasionally. You can choose some text from a school magazine. You can choose a ReadWorks text. But I think it gives you real bang for your buck if you link that oral reading fluency text to something else you're already learning. So inside the resource room, there are background knowledge texts written for every single text-based unit. So for the book, The Velveteen Rabbit, for example, that goes over 3 to 4 weeks, that unit, and there are 3 background knowledge texts, one about childhood diseases in the early 20th century, toys of the early 20th century, and raising children in the past. All of these are designed to help children understand and make a deep connection with the story, The Velveteen Rabbit. But because they've been written to be a pretty, reasonably complex text, they would be great for you to have the children read. You choose one a week, they read it with a partner, you help them unpack it. That repeated practice is a really good thing. Equally, you could choose an information text that links to your science or your HAS. You could choose another fiction text that has some connection with the text you're learning about. But I think when we get into year 3 to 6, we want to be kind of privileged information texts because that's what's going to help children engage academically up into high school and beyond. So oral reading practice, that repeated reading, is a really good thing to bring in. It's pretty low prep. You just have that repeatable routine through every day. They read it, and then when they've finished reading it, they've read it 4 or 5 times in class, they can take that home and not just knock the socks off their parents by reading them this amazing text. That is one of the tips that I have for you about what the literacy block can look like in the upper primary. And we've got 5 more videos to come. So have a look at the next one. Bye.